Vipers voices at the end of the fifth match for the Desert Vipers in this season's DP World ILT20 against the MI Emirates, top of the table, and the Vipers have secured a victory by 2 wickets off the very last ball. 3 were needed off that last ball, and Luke Wood and Shaheen Shah Afridi scrambled those runs. A victory. I've got James Foster, the head coach, alongside me. Thanks so much for joining us, James. And well, it was never in doubt, was it?
Yeah, look, it was an interesting day's play. Probably a tale of 2 different halves, really. But ultimately, we've got to win, and that's exactly what we need at this moment in time. Delighted to get the victory against a very good side in Mumbai. So yeah, it was a scrappy win at the end, but we got there.
10 were required off that final over. How was your heart at that stage?
In the balance, my heart was just was just there. It was I mean it was a tough sort of batting innings to watch, if I'm being honest. A few sort of mixed emotions in there, but ultimately getting the win, Shaheen doing it on the last ball. I guess a win's a win, and I think the knock-on effect is going to be huge. That sort of confidence. Yes, it was a scrappy win in the end. When you at half time, you probably think we just need to play relatively well and we should cruise home. But obviously, cricket's a funny thing. It can be a different beast at times. A couple of performances this year, we've probably been in decent positions and sort of let it slide. And it could have easily been like that today. So getting over the line, as I said, is a really important factor today. Give that little bit of confidence to the group. We've got a quality team. Haven't quite fired at our full throttle. Sometimes you don't always have to, but it's today was important.
And 3 off that last ball. Where were your thoughts at that stage? Would you have settled for a super over?
Yeah, I mean, I would have settled for anything other than a loss. So you always feel the super over, you got another bite at the cherry. So obviously delighted it's gone for 3. They ran pretty hard after sort of in the previous over, sort of just cruising a couple of singles, and there's probably 2s out there. So obviously Shaheen had it in the bag the whole time.
Now, the one interesting thing from my perspective watching that second innings was, at the beginning of the Vipers' innings, the ball swung, and the MI Emirates bowlers made it swing, they made it talk, and obviously that was all sorts of problems for the Desert Vipers' top order. Did that surprise you?
No, I mean, it's at times this campaign it swung, so it hasn't swung the whole time, but there's been games when it has, and we've been the same when we've bowled. So it's always a threat. They've got a brilliant top order bowling attack who can exploit those sort of conditions, and they bowl well. They put the ball in the business area, asked some questions from us, and unfortunately weren't able to sort of to come back in a positive fashion, with one of a better phrase. So look, we had to fight really ugly today. And fighting is a great sign. You probably say, look, we had it there and we kind of then gifted it to them, then we sort of wrestled it back and then gifted it back again, which has been maybe a bit of a telltale sign of this season so far. Again, if I'm being brutally honest, but when you get over the line, it can do wonders for the group, and very excited coming up to our next game.
You won the toss, put the opposition into bat, and that's a very common thing here at the Dubai International Stadium. I think that's 28 times in a row a captain has won the toss and decided to field first. And in that power play, for only the second time this tournament, you managed to get 3 wickets. So that was good value first up, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, we in our sort of tactical discussions and meetings, we were really keen to go hard. If you saw the balance of our attack, we had a very strong bowling unit. I mean, we always got a strong bowling unit, but we went obviously seam heavy today. And we wanted to potentially take advantage of all the talented bowlers that we have with that new ball. But you still got to keep it simple, it doesn't guarantee you wickets. Amir's first over set the tone, was an absolute joy to watch. But Woody was aggressive in that power play as well. So yeah, really pleased with that start, and actually the whole of the bowling performance, I thought we were very, very good. Restricted them to 150, in my book, well under par. Hence the reason there's a, seeing the position that we were in with the bat was slightly disappointing, but we got the job done, and that's what we're going to focus on. Yes, we always reflect as a team, coaching group with the players, areas to improve on, but happy with the W.
And catches were held and the ground fielding was sharp as well. Perhaps the best performance in the field in the tournament so far, would you say?
I thought we grew into our fielding performance. I'm a bit of a stickler on the fielding, and I thought our movement was okay in the first part, but I thought it got a lot better. And like I say, taking our opportunities. Nice and Tanish out there as well, doing a wonderful job. I know the ball didn't come through that much, but he was eager as to get out there. Obviously with Azam with his finger, we'll assess that. We don't know exactly where we're at with that. But yeah, I thought then in that back part we were fizzing around in the field, movement off the ball, a lot more energy, which was great. So yeah, you'd probably say it was up there with one of our better performances so far.
Talk to us about that catch from Ali Nazir as well, into the side for the first time, and what a stunning catch, and so important. Nicholas Puran.
Yeah, I mean, that Ali fielded exceptionally well, bearing in mind that's his first game. He's picked up a niggle early on in the training camp. It's great to see him out in the park. Look, didn't get his opportunity with the ball today, but it's comfortably the best I've seen him field, and it's not just because of that catch. I mean, that was a stunning catch, and like I said, the importance of getting Nicky Puran out at that stage in the game is absolutely massive. So, huge kudos to Ali, and also to Simon Helmet's been working so hard with the guys on their fielding. Delighted, you saw him. He took another sort of skyer. He did a brilliant stop at short third man as well, getting down low to a fast-paced ball. Well done.
Let's talk about the back end of the MI Emirates innings. Tim David, they held him back for the back end, and he came out and played shots. Was there anything, perhaps in hindsight, that the bowling side could have done just to rein him back a little bit? He got 28 from 14 balls, and in the end, that almost proved crucial.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like with every single player that you come up against, we plan well, and we put a lot of research and time and effort into that. I thought in general the idea of how we're trying to tie him down / get him out was good. There's times when you play against these world-class players that they just get the better of you, and often you see someone like Tim David does that more often than not. It's like some other top players, other top hitters lower down the order. I could see the logic with what we were trying to do with most of our balls, with the fields that we had. He was just too good.
Just talk to us as well about the back end of that MI Emirates innings. There was a little bit of controversy, wasn't there? Because Odean Smith went out to bat at one stage, and then he had to come off again. And you were talking with the fourth umpire, Aleem Dar. I know the MI Emirates staff were talking as well. What happened there?
They wanted to make the switch, get Odean in there, but they didn't do it in time with the paperwork. So it's been made very clear to us that at any stage you need to fill in the form. The coach has to go up to the fourth official and hand it personally. So unfortunately, they didn't get all that stuff in the right order at the right time. So that's why he had to come back.
149 for 9 at the halfway stage. Would you have settled for that?
100%.
And in terms of the second innings, you then went back to Rowan Mustafa and Alex Hales. Rowan and Alex, of course, opened very successfully in season 1. What was the thinking there?
It was just, there's a combination of thinking there, which I don't necessarily want to, go into too much detail on. But there was a reason. Ronnie did well for us there last year. He played a role that we needed him to play. And we thought it was just, and again, there's a few reasons, and we were very happy with those reasons, and it made sense to us with what we wanted to do with our combination for this game to use Ronnie at the top.
What do you put down the fact that what do you put down to the fact that the batters haven't clicked so far in this tournament? The side hasn't scored over 170 thus far. Obviously, it was a tough chase, but a successful one today. What do you put it down to?
I'll put it down to, at times, the lack of smartness that as a group, how we're operating. You know, there'll be times when people get out early in their innings and what it might be, or there's really good catches, but it's just our general, like often in games we've been bossing the game and then we'll hand it back, and then we'll rebuild and we're in a great position. And then we'll probably do, I would say, some simple things not well enough, and it's cost us dearly. So it's something that we as a whole team are fully aware of, but also in the same breath you have to let the guys play. You've got to let them, you know, they're expressive cricketers and they have abundance of ability, and you want them to go out that, but you just have, at times, just need to have that little bit of sprinkle of smartness with how you operate with the ball and with the bat, and I feel that we haven't quite done that with the bat. We're working on it, we're working hard on it. Getting over the line today, as I touched on earlier, I think can really build on our confidence, and then you never know, if it starts clicking, I think we're going to be in absolute danger to a real force to take on.
It's a very different tournament in one respect this season, isn't it, to last? Because if you look at the points table, everyone's beating everyone. Nobody's run away with things. Last season, Gulf Giants and the Vipers were comfortably the top two sides for the vast majority of the group stage. That hasn't happened this term. What do you put that down to?
Well, I remember when we spoke before the competition, I mentioned how I thought all the teams were looking super strong. I thought everyone recruited as had we done. I thought I believe that we recruited really well. I thought our squad strengthened. I believe other teams have strengthened. But also you got to, you know, cricket's a funny old game. It's, at times you can be playing poorly, but then all of a sudden it just suddenly switches, and then you get on a roll. And bear in mind, we've got 3 more games in 4 or 5 days, whatever it might be. If we can then use that confidence from today and bring that into our performances in our next couple of games, and all of a sudden it just switches really quickly. But as I said, it's 6 very, very strong teams, all fighting out, all want to do really well, competitive, talented players. Anything can happen.
And it's David Warner's Dubai Capitals next. They've had an up and down season so far as well. What are you expecting from them?
Well, look, they're a good side on paper, as are we, but it's all going to be on the day. We know they're going to be ultra aggressive and competitive, got options with the bat and the ball, as do every team that we come up against. So that's what I'm expecting, and it'll be a really good challenge for us to try and go back to back and again grow on this momentum.
Well, let's see if the Vipers can grow on the momentum that's been secured in this victory. A victory by 2 wickets off the very last ball against MI Emirates, a second success of the season for the Desert Vipers. And the next game comes up very quickly indeed against the Dubai Capitals on Thursday. And once again, we'll have reaction here on Vipers Voices, the vodcast and the podcast. So make sure you stay with us for that.